So I guess after all that, we're all thinking, okay, what can we do? What's the process? I mean, Jakob's gone over the process. Some of what I'm about to say is very similar, but just to emphasize where we are with the process and how you can get involved. So, good place to start. What, where, when? Well, the consultation, as Jakob's already outlined, is it seeks to validate assumptions, validate cost implications, gather information on how innovation, competition, skills and training requirements and investment may be impacted, and to assess the impacts on different sized businesses, because it can affect different sized businesses in different ways. So it's important for that information to come forward. The you can find it at this link. It's in the chat for anybody who wants to do that, copy it or follow up with it. And you will find the link to the consultation survey also on that page. As has already been mentioned, it was launched on 5th November. I thought it was a very appropriate date for something like this, and closes on the 17th of December. So we don't have long. It's a relatively short consultation. So you need to get your responses in by the 17th of December. Trade associations and industry bodies, well, they're all very active at the moment. I'm certainly active with a number of these. And they're consulting with members. Apologies if I've missed any off of the list there, but all the trade associations are very active looking at this and how it affects the membership. But there is very definitely a limit to what information industry associations and bodies can put into the consultation. So it's really important that we get the input of individual companies as well to make it the full information available. So what can individual companies do? Well, first of all, it's good to mention that there is an option to keep your response confidential. So you don't have to worry about your information being seen by everyone. You can click that and say it's confidential. The first couple of questions in the consultation are just about the company size and what you do. And the third one is a very general one, asking if you generally agree. When we get to the nitty gritty, we come to questions 4, 5, and 6, and they're looking at the data, which is when you go to the website, you'll find that there are 3 documents. One is the data spreadsheet of assumptions. Now, if anybody's looked at that, you probably looked at it and thought, I won't even bother looking, because it looks horrendous when you look at it. There's lots of tabs, lots of data. I really, really strongly encourage you to look at that. And I'll give you a few pointers on how to do that. The first thing is on the tab, which is called Key. You'll find a list of different technologies or applications. Look down that list, find the ones which are relevant to you. They won't all be relevant, of course. Just find the ones which are relevant to you. And there's a link there which will take you straight to that tab. But before going to that tab, what I would recommend is to look at the Units tab next to it. This explains basically what the numbers all mean, what units are used for the numbers, because they're just numbers on each of those tabs, and also gives a little note as to what each of those actually means. One thing I will point out, and I'll mention this again, is if you're looking at the COPs, obviously, normally we're used to quoting a COP number. The higher the number, the more energy efficient. These tables use the ICOP, the inverse coefficient of performance. So the lower the number, the more efficient it will be. So please don't get caught out if you're looking at that and you want to submit some new data. So once you're familiarized with that, this is an example. This is a condensing units chill sample. This is the type of data which you will see. And these are the assumptions which have been made. And a lot of the what's on there has been made based on these numbers. If you check these numbers for the areas you're involved with, it would be, I'm sure, very interesting for Jakob and his colleagues to know if they've got it right. Just a quick scan of this one, for example, I can see potentially 4 areas. I would like to think, maybe I'm wrong, but I would like to think we're better than 60% recovery from systems. I would hope we can get much better than that. So maybe you can comment on that. Again, I'll mention the ICOP. Please make sure it's the inverse and not the COP. And also, as you can see here, there's an assumption which all the technologies are basically the same COP, and I think that's probably not the case. Also, in the initial cost and maintenance cost, there's a lot of blank spaces on a lot of these tabs, or where, as you can see here, initial cost has been assumed to be the same for all technologies. Again, I think that's unlikely to be the case. So it's really important. Don't just think this data is irrelevant. Please go into these data tables and please feedback where you think they're wrong, because that could completely change some of the assumptions going forward. So question 7, gathering information on innovation, competition, skills in training and investment that might be needed. Question 8, gathering information on availability of non-HFC systems in Great Britain and anything which prevents their deployment, so standards, regulations, or anything which makes it difficult. Question 9, gathering information on additional costs that may be passed on to consumers. So, if the equipment is more expensive or more expensive to run, that could be passed on to consumers. 10 and 11 looks at particularly micro, small, medium businesses, how it might impact those. And then finally, question 10, 12, any regional differences across the GB. So there's just 12 questions in the consultation. I would encourage you, as I said, to look into the detail of the data for your particular areas, because that is important. And I would very, very strongly encourage everybody to get involved with this, and please make it as data driven as you can, because you can say yes, I like it, or no, I don't like it, but that's not very helpful for DEFRA to base a decision on. So how can you respond? Again, it's on that page. The link is in the chat again, and there are alternative options, although DEFRA and his Jakob and his colleagues would very much prefer you to go online through the portal, but there is an email option, and there is even a post option as well. So please don't leave it to anyone else. It's really important that the whole industry gets involved and responds to the consultation and gives DEFRA as much information as possible to base the final regulation on.